Happy morning, students. Now, in this video, I am going to discuss the remaining part of plaster of Paris, that is, its properties and uses. In the previous video, students, you might have come to know that plaster of Paris is prepared when calcium sulfate dihydrate, that is gypsum, is heated at a controlled temperature of 100 degrees centigrade. Gypsum loses 3 by 2 molecules of its water crystallization and formation of calcium sulfate hemihydrate takes place, that is plaster of Paris. But to students, a curiosity may come to you, a question may come to you, sir, what is going to happen if it is burned above 100 degrees centigrade? Because in the previous video I said you that we should not heat it above 100 degrees centigrade. So let us see what happens when gypsum is heated above 100 degrees C, then it loses two molecules of its water crystallization and forms anhydrous calcium sulfate. So students, you can see over here what I have written on the board. When gypsum is heated above 100 degrees C, then it loses two molecules of its water crystallization and forms anhydrous calcium sulfate. Loses all its water molecule. Gypsum has two water molecules. As water crystallization, it will lose both the molecules of water crystallization and will turn to only calcium sulfate, that is anhydrous calcium sulfate, also called as dead burnt plaster. What it is called? It is called as dead burnt plaster. Which one? That is anhydrous calcium sulfate. Let us see the example. Let us take the chemical equation. Now, equation में CaSO4 dot 2H2O. It is heated, right? You can write above 100 degrees centigrade. It is getting heated above 100 degrees centigrade. What happens? It loses. It is going to form CaSO4 plus 2H2O. CaSO4 plus 2H2O. This is your calcium sulfate. And what type of calcium sulfate? Anhydrous. Anhydrous calcium sulfate. And two molecules of water crystallization is liberated. This is also called as dead burnt plaster. What it is called as? Dead burnt plaster. CaSO4, which doesn't have any molecule of water crystallization, is called as dead burnt plaster. Now let us see what are the different uses of plaster of Paris. Uses of plaster of Paris. Students, you might have seen your friends or you might have seen someone whose bones get fractured or broken, he goes to the doctor and the doctor does plaster on it, called as plaster on it. It is a hard mass. It is a hard mass, and as it is a hard mass, as it is very, very hard, it sets the fractured bones into its place. So for setting fractured bones, plaster of Paris is required. So first of all, number one, for setting fractured bones, plaster of Paris is required. Now you might ask me, sir, what happens when plaster of Paris, how it is for setting fractured bones, how it forms hard mass? You might have seen some of your friends wrapping a white hard covering where the bones are being fractured. You might have a curiosity, or you might have a question, how it sets into a hard mass. Let us see, students, what happens whenever plaster of Paris, that is CaSO4 dot half H2O, this is your plaster of Paris. When it is subjected to water, when plaster of Paris is subjected to water, what happens? Again, formation of a hard mass takes place. That is again CaSO4 dot 2H2O takes place. That is the hard mass. It is a very hard mass, and this hard mass sets the fractured or the broken bones into its place. It restricts the movement of the legs and sets the broken and the fractured bones. So when plaster of Paris, we can say plaster of Paris, when plaster of Paris is subjected to water, formation of calcium sulfate dot 2H2O, calcium sulfate dihydrate takes place, and it is a hard mass, sets into a hard mass. Therefore, it is very, very useful in medical sciences in order to set the broken or the fractured bones. Students, I can also say it is used for making toys. It is also used for making statues. Means plaster of Paris can be used for making toys, can be used for making statues, also can be used for making decorative items. So number two, I can write used for making toys, statues and decorative items. Thirdly, students, I can say it is also used in our laboratory. Yes, of course, it is used in our laboratory in order to make the apparatus airtight. So I can write it over here. It is used. Third point, in laboratory, POP, plaster of Paris, is used for making apparatus airtight. Okay, students, and lastly we can see in making fireproof materials, this plaster of Paris is highly used. in making fire proof in making fireproof materials, plaster of Paris is very useful. So students, you saw the different uses, properties of the plaster of Paris, and also might have got the total idea how plaster of Paris is used and what is the different properties of it. Thank you.